1969, a blackhawk weapons firing test and demonstration program was successfully conducted as a cooperative effort between Sikorsky Aircraft, Westland Helicopters, and several European weapons system manufacturers. A standard Blackhawk, equipped with an external stores support system, was instrumented to assess the structural effect of the weapons that were tested. All fixed forward firing weapons were managed by a gun rocket control system manufactured in Belgium by Forges du Zeebrugge, FZ. The system is capable of firing both 50 caliber and 20 millimeter gun pods, as well as 70 millimeter rocket pods. It also offers features such as burst limiting, gun recock, and remote fuse setting. Weapon aiming was performed using a Creuset-type 100-sight system installed in the cockpit overhead at the pilot's station. An Alcan-type 1216 ejector rack was utilized to mount the gun pods on the inboard stations. The outboard stations incorporated an ML Aviation ERU-119 ejector and twin stores carrier to accommodate dual 19-tube rocket launchers on each side of the aircraft. Pylon-mounted weapons tested and demonstrated were the Fabrique Nationale FN 50 caliber HMP, the FZ M159 rocket pod, and GIOT 20 millimeter M621 cannon. Pintle-mounted weapons evaluated were the FN 7.62 millimeter M240E1 and General Electric GCAL 50. The demonstration was conducted before an international audience in 4 segments that displayed weapon system firing capability and aircraft performance. With full fuel and over 3,000 pounds of armament, the Blackhawk can still carry 12 combat-equipped troops or an additional 3,000 pounds of cargo. The first demo configuration was dual 50 caliber gun pods and 4 70 millimeter rocket pods. Each gun pod holds 250 rounds and has a firing rate of 1,000 rounds per minute. Firing runs were demonstrated at a range of 800 meters and at speeds up to 120 knots. Rocket launches were performed at ranges of 750 to 1,500 meters and at speeds up to 140 knots. Standard Mark 40 and high-speed FZ-68 motors were used to demonstrate smoke and flechette warheads in pair, quad, and ripple launch modes. The second configuration demonstrated each pintle-mounted weapon from a hover and at 35 knots sideward and 800 foot per minute vertical climb flight conditions. The 7.62 millimeter M240E1 has a gun-mounted ammo box and fires at a rate of 900 rounds per minute. The GCAL 50 has gunner-selectable firing rates of 1,000 or 2,000 rounds per minute, fed from a cabin ammo box with a capacity of 750 rounds. The final configuration presented was dual 20 millimeter cannons and 4 rocket pods. The rockets were used to demonstrate the wall in space concept by firing 24 rockets from a hover at a target 4.5 kilometers away. Each rocket had a warhead containing 9 submunitions that were ejected by a remote set fuse at the proper time for formation of the wall. 20-millimeter cannon runs were performed at ranges of 700 to 850 meters and at speeds up to 120 knots. Each cannon pod holds 250 rounds of ammunition and fires at a rate of 850 rounds per minute. The demonstration concluded with an aerobatic display which emphasized the Blackhawk's maneuverability and power margin in a high-drag configuration. The display began with a crowd flyby, followed by a pull-up to a hammerhead maneuver. Roll rates greater than 90 degrees per second were shown in a figure-8 maneuver that ended with a 2G pull-up to gain altitude. From 1,200 feet and 70 knots, the aircraft performed a split S maneuver. Followed by another hammerhead to reduce speed. The aircraft then made a spiral descent and 3G turn prior to a momentary touchdown. A 3,000 foot per minute vertical takeoff gave dramatic evidence of the Blackhawk's power margin. At an altitude of 1,000 feet, the aircraft executed an 80-degree pitchover with a spiral dive to a hover. The demo concluded with a sideward flight at 40 knots and a unique rearward departure. The test and demonstration program was a complete success. The Blackhawk has proven to be a stable weapons platform, capable of carrying large armament payloads while maintaining excellent speed and maneuverability characteristics. The Blackhawk continues to establish itself as the world's premier multi-role helicopter.